Michael Gowan here, and after the amazing week that I've had this week, I had to share. I had to make a video. I can't help it. You that know me know I love sharing my heart and sharing videos, and hashtag Gauntlet Miracle. That's the name of this, and there's a reason for that. I'm 41 years old, almost 42, and I've experienced some crazy miracles in my life. I've seen some amazing movements of God, but I've never seen anything quite like this past week. And the thing that really challenged me, that got me thinking, was just a few things that I want to challenge you with this week, share with you, and you can do with it what you want. But Brad, one of the pastors at New Spring, had shared earlier in the week, he said, what if God did exactly what you'd expected him to do? And it got me thinking. Most people don't expect anything from God. We say that we do, but in our heart of hearts, in our mind, and the ways we pray and the way we live, we don't expect anything. We don't expect miracles. We don't expect healings. We go to church on Sundays, and we don't expect anything great. And it got me thinking, what if we really did believe that God was still working miracles? And then bam. This past week at Gauntlet, I really seen childlike faith. I seen the faith that the youth have. And I really believe that's why the great movement happened this past week at Gauntlet. What great movement was that? Well, we had about a 40-minute service where Perry preached, and it was an amazing service. And he gave an invitation. And he stepped back, and when he gave that invitation, kids just started clapping. They just started clapping. And when they started clapping, they were clapping because a few kids were coming forward. Well, they continued to clap. Perry didn't do anything. It was nothing to do with Perry, nothing to do with New Spring. It was all God, and it was all because kids had faith. They showed up that night, and they expected God to do something great, and God honored that. That's why I believe this week at Gauntlet was so awesome, because of childlike faith. Nothing that no pastor did or anything like that, but kids continued to clap. 40-minute service led into a 51 or 52-minute invitation where over 500 kids give their life to Christ. All because I honestly believe kids showed up and they believed, they had childlike faith. They believed that God was going to do something great. They believed it with their hearts, and they weren't looking at their watches saying, oh my gosh, it's 12 o'clock, it's time to go home. Oh my gosh, I'm going to miss lunch. No, they came to church to worship that night. They came to church expecting God to do something great, and they weren't worried about what time they were coming home. And they literally clapped for 51 minutes, and they didn't get tired of it because they seen God moving. And I've never experienced anything like that in my life. And as they clapped, more came forward. And Perry didn't do nothing. He didn't step forward and say, hey, come on, and make kids feel bad or anything at all. No, he stood back in awe while kids just kept clapping. Childlike faith expected God to do great things, and God honored it. And those people were focused on God. Those youth were focused on God, and they were worshiping, and they were standing in amazement of God, and God honored it. So I took away from Gauntlet this thing right here. During that Gauntlet miracle, that was a miracle. One lady said if they were still writing the Bible, that miracle that night would have been written in the Bible, because it was. I've never experienced anything like that. So what if God did what you expected him to do? So as you go to church this Sunday, what are you expecting God to do? Really think about it. And why don't we see that more in churches? And I really believe it's because we go to church and we don't expect anything. And we're more worried about what time it is, and we're going to get to eat lunch on time, and we're going to get to meet our schedule and things like that. And I've done that thousands of times, but no more. I hope no more that I ever do that. So I hope you can take this away from it. What if God did exactly what you expected him to do? I hope we start expecting more things from God, because I'm telling you what, it was an awesome week. Hashtag Gauntlet Miracle, no doubt about that. And I'm excited about what's in store. There's no doubt that God has placed in my heart better days ahead for a reason, and I believe that. And they say the best is yet to come, whatever it may be. It was a miracle. It was a blessing, an honor to be able to be a part of it. But think about this. Take this away from it. What if God did exactly what you expected him to do? Do we expect great things from God? I know I do, even more so now than ever. I'm honored. I'm blessed. I'm privileged to be able to be a part of it this past week. And I thank God for his grace and mercy and allowing me to be able to be a part of these kids, of New Spring, of Fuse, and all the great things that are happening. And I hope every church experienced it this week. So what do you expect of God? Expect great things.